Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David and this is a Magic Review. Hey, today we're gonna look at socks from Michel Huot and Vanishing Ink. All right, so what is socks? Socks is a trick with socks. It's a sock trick. It's a laundry trick. It's a card trick. It's really a card trick. So you have a deck of cards, especially printed deck of cards. Each card has a different sock on it. You can show them to the spectator. There's nothing to hide. You give the deck a little shuffle if you want to, separate it into two piles, and then you say, we're gonna just say stop whenever you like, and you go through the two piles. When the spectator says stop, you separate those two cards out, and then you deal through the rest of the deck. You then show the other cards to the spectator, show that there's no matches, and hopefully the spectator got a match. When you turn those two cards over, they don't match either. And it's kind of one of those, magician got it wrong kind of tricks, or the spectator got it wrong kind of tricks. But then you reveal your prediction, and your prediction is the socks you are wearing. You hike up your pants and you reveal the socks that are actually the ones the spectator chose. Pretty cool. Let's get into this review. All right, so a couple questions we always ask about all of our Magic reviews, and the first of which is, what do you get in the box? It's a little plastic, see-through, transparent box. Inside, you're gonna get a single pair of socks. That's right, you're gonna get the socks. Well, you need the socks. You get the socks. The socks are the revelation that is on the cards. And as an extra bonus, there is a card reveal. So on the bottom of the sock, one is the suit and the other is the number. And so if you have the ability to force a card, you could do a card reveal after that. Then after that, you're gonna get the special deck of cards, of course, and you'll get access to the video. The video is roughly 35 minutes long. Is it what I thought? Yes, because there's no way to do this unless you force the cards, right? So it's a card trick with a force, and then you have a revelation that shows that you knew what they would pick. So this is an age-old plot. So even though they're gonna show you the force that they like, obviously it's a deck of cards, and if you can force two cards right now, you could probably do the trick right now, right? So really the trick is open to any force you already know. How are the angles? The angles are perfect because it's just a card trick, right? It's just a card trick. There's no gaffs, there's no gimmicks, there's nothing to hide. There's no invisible thread, there's no string, there's no magnets, there's no trap doors. It's just socks and cards. Can it be inspected? I don't know why somebody would want you to take off your socks and hand them to them to inspect them, but sure, if they wanted to inspect your socks, they can. All right, so what's the overall quality and production value of the video? Hey, it's Vanishing Ink. Vanishing Ink always makes great videos. You got a blue background there. There's no music, which I love. You got a couple of different camera shots. You have a table and waist high shot, and then of course you have a close-up shot. Everything's well mic'd. As far as what they're gonna teach you, they're gonna go over the history of the trick. They're gonna talk about what's inside the box. Then they're gonna tell you the correct way to put on socks. Yes, there is a correct way to put on socks. Then they're gonna go through the setup, then the performance, then how to do the revelation, and why it's important that you do the revelation a certain way. I will say that it is not a surefire force in this, okay? It's not a surefire force. So they're gonna teach you several more forces in case you don't like the first one, and then you're gonna get one more additional studio performance. Hey, are the socks well made? They are well made. They're really well made socks. These are not socks that are cheap or just like, what kind of socks are these? I believe they will fit up to at least a size 13. So that should give you some idea. And if they're way too big for you, there's other options. You don't have to wear the socks, especially if you wanted to keep good care of them. I mean, you could have the socks in a little laundry basket with other clothes, and they're the only 2 socks in the laundry basket. You could have the socks stuck to your back with static cling, and when you take off your jacket and turn around, everyone sees the socks and they laugh, right? So there's lots of different ways you could do this. You don't have to wear them. All right, so how much practice does this require? For the most part, the trick itself, the body of the trick is very simple. The force has to do a lot with timing and your spectators, and it's really hard force to practice without a spectator that doesn't know what's happening. So this is the kind of force you have to practice in the real world. But like I was saying earlier, the beautiful thing about the props and the routine is it allows you to do this however you'd like. I mean, really, if let's say you were doing walk around corporate, okay? Walk around corporate, maybe you don't have access to a table. All you gotta do is set the deck up to force 2 cards. And it would work great with 2 spectators. So if you walk up to a couple of business guys and they're sharing a drink, and they're talking about Xerox and sell, buy. And you're like, hey, let me show you guys a magic trick real quick. You just have the deck set up, you riffle through the cards, or you can show all the cards different first, right? You can riffle through the cards, say, hey, here's your card, you hold on to it, and you can do the same thing again, just say stop, riffle, give that guy his card, and then say, let's see if you guys have a match, right? And they turn the 2 cards and, oh, they don't have a match. But then you walk 2 steps back, you hike up your pants, and there's your socks. And you just did it as walk around with no table, right? And it's a surefire force. I would say you could do the same thing with restaurant magic and a couple that's out to dinner. You want to say, cards have a way of revealing, the closeness of people. Let's just see if you guys have our match, and let's symbolize the match with socks. Socks are a match, couples are a match, and then you go through the process and you force 2 cards, right? Any which way you want to force 2 cards. And the cards are turned and revealed, and oh, you guys don't have a match. But then you show that you have a match with me. Oh, thank you. See, something like that. So I think there's lots of ways to do it. I think when I was initially watching this and I saw that it was just a timing force, I was a little bit let down because I was like, I don't do timing forces and I don't have a way to practice doing timing forces. I need something that's more surefire for me and my routines. So the timing force doesn't work for me, but if you're a card magician already and you know how to force 2 cards, I mean, it's gonna require no practice at all. How much setup and reset is there? Of course, that's gonna be up to you. It's primarily a deck stack, right? It's a deck stack to force 2 cards. So like I said, do it however it feels comfortable. All right, positives. What are the positives? Socks is the prediction effect you can wear. Put these on, grab some cards, and you'll always be a shoo-in for some entertaining. Negatives. All right, so what are the negatives? Ever since I started this channel, I've always wanted to tell you the good and the bad. I give you the positives and the negatives, and then I leave it up to you as to whether you think this works for you and fits your routine. Hey, I already said that's not a surefire force. I didn't like that, but there's ways around that, right? You can force a card any which way you like. It's also billed in the trailer as mentalism. And I don't know that a card trick with a prediction is necessarily mentalism. Mentalism, for me, usually means you've read their mind. And this is just like any other card trick. If I had a jack of clubs in my pocket and then I forced you a jack of clubs and you got it, and then I pulled it out of my pocket and said, look, I predicted it's the 1 card in my pocket or the 1 card in my wallet. I don't really consider those tricks mentalism. For me, they're still just card tricks. I mean, if you're gonna classify that as mentalism, then let's classify all magic tricks as mentalism. I don't know. Prediction effects for me, it's tough for it to enter the world of mentalism. Maybe I just have like more stringent, like more tight rules about what mentalism is. I don't know. You tell me. Do you think it's mentalism? Tell me in the comment section below. Is it worth your money? It's only $40. $40 is a great price for a custom set of socks, plus custom cards, plus 35 minutes of instruction. I would almost say if you're a professional, right, and you make your living at this, I would buy 2. Really? I mean, spend $80, get a lot more cards, right? Make it into a full-size deck, or maybe even make it larger, and have 2 pairs of socks so that you could do multiple ways of forcing. You could do a match, right? Let's say you bought 2 sets. Now you have two matching pairs of socks. You have two purples and two greens, and then you could show, look, they're all mismatched. And then the spectators did find a match. Ta-da! And it's a match to my socks that I'm wearing. And you wouldn't be wearing clown type socks if you were a more serious magician. Let's say you're not a comedy magician, right? You're more serious. Well, then you don't want mismatched socks because you wouldn't wear mismatched socks in real life. So spend 80 bucks, get two, and then you'll have multiple ways of doing this trick. Who would like this? I would hope by the end of this review, this long review, that you've kind of felt like whether this will work for you or not. And I hope I've given you everything you need to make that choice. Hey, I want to thank Murphy's Magic Supplies. I want to thank Vanishing Ink. I want to thank Andy Gladwin for allowing me to have this trick so that I could do the review for you. And if you'd like to purchase it for yourself, you can find it wherever quality Murphy's Magic products are sold. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.